G'day scrappers, just thought I'd catch up once again. I've been having a bit of a break and being quite lazy actually. I've got one of these hard drive modules. They're quite cool, these. Been hanging around for a while. I'm trying to just get as much scrap steel in the van for this week, because street scrapping starts next week, so I wanted to do a bit of that. Just little SAS drive hard drives and some full size. Yeah, so I wanted to get out there and do a bit of street scrapping, and so before I do that I need to just clear out a bit of scrap steel and things that have just been hanging around. Like I said, I've been pretty lazy in the last few weeks. I've just kind of trying to have a break. So what do we got? 12 hard drives. But at the same time as having a break, I kind of don't have a break. I'm always doing something. There's always a few little things to do, or I'm doing a pickup, but and trying to catch up on things. Luckily this week I only had one pickup, just one school, so it gave me a chance, not necessarily to catch up on work, but just gave me a bit of a chance to chill out and have that bit of time out. So yeah, it's been a while since especially this time of year, since we've been allowed to go out street scrapping. So it starts next week in one area. There's not many areas left, so I thought I'd make the most of the street scrapping that we still do have, and at least get a bit of a taste for it. These are really jammed in. Probably because they've been sitting out in the weather. There we go. Okay, so it's just a power supply module, obviously, so nothing spectacular there. Yeah, a lot of subscribers do enjoy my street scrapping videos, so they've probably been waiting for quite some time. This is here. Oh, well, at least we've got a decent mid-grade board with a couple of gold band crystal oscillators. There's a BGA under there I'll leave. Yeah, not much to it really, but still quite a bit of weight for a mid-grade board. So, better than nothing. And there will be a back plane board, and that's the same board. So whether I go for the back plane board or not, and that's just another power module. Irony alley for me. What do we got? Yeah, we've got a it's just going to be a mid-grade backplane board, but still it's not going to be a hard one to get out. Phillips head screws, easy access. Sometimes backplane boards are really complicated to get out. We might have 50 screws. Sometimes you wonder whether you should take it out or just leave it in and get rid of it. But in this case, we're quite lucky. Okay, so there's our backplane board. Has some gold pins, you know, and these SATA type gold pins in there as well. Yeah, nothing spectacular. I usually look for a gold band crystal oscillator that I can pick off. In this case there isn't, so I'm just going to throw this into, just give it to my buyer as a mid-grade board, even though some places will get higher grade for it. Alright, so that's that. These are just hard drive blanks. Well, that's another piece of scrap steel. It's going in the van, and yeah, as I said, just trying to clear off as much scrap steel as I can to make room, and then we're going to go street scrapping. We're going to have a bit of fun. Work's pretty quiet, so yeah, see if we can make a bit of cash out there on hard rubbish. Alright, let's do something else. So here is some cool looking switch, EMC square. Oh yeah, has all these little ports, and some people say you can sell these little port thingos. I think I have to take them all out to get the boards out, I think. Can't remember. Alright. Oh yeah, it's got a little ram stick anyway. Yeah, cool kind of board. It's a bit of a power board there. So I started doing a depopulating video on high grade boards, but I couldn't complete it because I couldn't get to my air compressor, and that's a really important part of depopulating high grade boards, like the real high grade boards with a whole lot of chips on them. I need the compressor to use the air gun and take them all off quickly. And yeah, I just can't get to that part of the garage yet. So I thought, oh well, I'm going to have to delay that video for a while until I get in there. Alright, bit of aluminium. Yeah, got to take all these ports out. And see, they've got tiny little boards in there with little gold fingers. But apparently you can actually sell these individually, and well, if you're picking up eWaste and you're getting switches and stuff like that, you can get quite a lot of this sort of stuff. No doubt, mostly out of date for here in Australia. But what some guys do is they just want to get the weight back on the board, right? And so just put them back, and you know, some guys might go for the little gold fingers. But for me, now this can be, I remember I had giant boards with massive double rows of these things, and I must have had like 50 boards, and it took me days to take out every one of these, and then that was just to get them out of the unit, and then having to put everyone. So I had buckets of them, and I'm putting them all back to get the weight back because they were very high grade boards. There's a couple of gold band crystals, good for me. Yeah, it's a really hard board to grade because there's really not a great deal to it. Obviously we've got a ram stick, so we want to keep that. Yeah, these are 1 gig. Okay, so that gives you an indication of the age. 1 gig's not that much. Yeah, so yeah, there'll be a BGA under these heat sinks. So yeah, I've been a bit slack as far as putting up videos, and and also doing much work. So yeah, it's catch-up time now. And that's that switch. I've got so many switches at the moment that have been sitting around for a long time, as well as all these switches that I got from the museum a couple of weeks ago. Haven't even cracked onto them either. So okay, so I can get rid of that. I'll put these things back in there. Keep me little RAM stick. Yeah, just a power board, really. Not much to it. Quite small. I much prefer the Cisco's. So let's do a Cisco then. Yeah, like I said, so many switches at the moment. They're easy enough to scrap, no problem. Some of these Cisco's, however, just like this one, has flat screwdrivers, flathead screws, sorry, and so it got to do them by hand, so it certainly takes a lot longer. Let's get this power board out. Get that out. All right. So yeah, it's a much slower process, obviously. So I won't bore you with me undoing every screw. Like there's what, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17 screws. You know, if they were Phillips head, just whip through with the drill. But although they're not real deep threads, so it's only a couple of turns and they're out. Okie dokie. That should get us there. There's always one. Right, nice. So we can get server grade board for this. Just ideally, the buyer would like these heat sinks taken off, but there is 2 gold band crystals for me, and yeah, just a good. It's actually very, very clean. Not a speck of dust on it. That's strange. All right, well, that was a Cisco done. Too easy. Like I said, they're not really complicated to scrap, and once you get a roll on them, yeah, you can go through, and that's what I need to do. I need to get some kind of roll and get through about 50 of them in one go, and make that space. Okay, looks like we've got this chicken just wants to find a little spot and just wants to sit. There you go, you sit. All right. Well, since we're done a couple of switches, might as well do another one, but not Cisco. It's purple. It's called an Extreme Networks. So purple, I've never done a purple switch before. That'll be interesting. Okay. Looks like it could be. Oh, okay. Okay, that's quite unusual. Quite a big power board there, and then just oh yeah, it looks like one big board. Let's get into it. Okay, a few risers. I could unscrew them and get that little bit extra brass, but there we go. 4 extra long brass risers. Good brass. Okay. Just a mid-grade, kind of like a riser. Couple more risers. Hey, we've even got a ram stick. They're glued down. There you go. 512 megabyte. Quite a strange. It's a little bit longer than a laptop motherboard. Sorry, a laptop RAM stick. Yeah, it's a bit longer. Huh. We've got a few gold band crystals. A little cluster of them. But yeah, 4. Like I said, sometimes these don't go as server grade boards because there's just too much dead weight and not enough chips and stuff. So what I recommend, when they don't look very good and you can feel that there's a lot of heavy but not many chips, take off the heat sinks and you'll present it a lot better. It's a lot easier to say, okay, yep, we can throw this into server grade, whereas when they come like that, they're easily thrown into a mid-grade because it's just got too much rubbish on them. It's actually quite warm today. It's going to be it's the last day that's going to be this warm, so it's not really hot, but I mean, we are in March. It's about time it starts to cool down. So yeah, looking forward to the cooler days. As long as it's not raining, and looking forward to street scrapping on those, those days. I want to try and do at least one a week, maybe twice a week. I'll just see how I go. It's a little bit complicated area where it is. It's sort of split into, each zone is split into 2 sections. So you've got to do a bit of driving, and it's a very compact area. Small streets, lots of cars parked out in the streets. So it's not an easy place to street scrap. Alright, well that was that. That's 3 switches and that hard drive thing. That was pretty cool. So what I've got to do here is I've got to get these hard drives out of these cases in order to sell them. They're actually quite nice cases as well. So I'll check out the hard drive, but yeah, I don't think it. I just got to remember. Oh yeah, they sort of clip open. Yeah. So I just put these in the plastic recycling, and a bonus little board here, mid-grade, and there's our hard drives. Yeah, so I'm just going to clean these up now, and then go into something else. Let's do a bit of a marathon. Well, something a little bit different than a switch. I just got a Dell PowerEdge 2650 server here. I've got a lot more servers than I would like. So a lot of these servers were given to me after they were kind of picked of their hard drives, and sometimes CPU, sometimes RAM. So it's just one One thing I really need to get onto this week is the servers and the switches, especially because they take up so much room, and there's a lot of scrap steel here that I want to get off the property, and because you just don't know what's coming ahead. I got street scrapping. I could do small business pickups. Okay, just trying to work out. Huh. That was awkward, but it's actually a very high grade riser card, I suppose you can call it. You got a nice BGA here, you got a gold band crystal, you got another BGA under the heatsink there, so it's actually quite a high grade. This should go as like a server grade, to be honest. It just depends on the buyer. So we might as well get the fun bit. And these cards here, a lot of times in these Dells and so on, you get 2 of these cards. And they've got the heat sink and so on. These don't really go as slot cards. This is transformers and stuff, you know. It's sure, it does have gold fingers, but it's all these are mid-grade boards here. Maybe go for peripheral in the States, but yeah, they're just a mid-grade board. If you take off the gold fingers, what you got then is just a low-grade board, but you got your gold fingers, so it's up to you. And obviously I don't buy low-grade boards anymore, so you would just throw it into scrap metal. So yeah, but I get them often when people bring me boards, come to sell me boards, and in their slot cards, PCI cards, etc., they throw them in. Obviously there's an easier way. It's just a straight extruded aluminium heatsink, but still the price of extruded aluminium these days is incredible, so definitely worth separating them. Just get the CPU out. It's quite out of touch. There we go. So it's got the pins, nice gold pins, the copper heatsink and the silicon BGA chip underneath the copper heatsink. You've got some MLCCs. Not generally something I've ever sold, those types. Couple of RAM sticks. Obviously being server, they have to be really good. These are 512 megabytes. Even 16 gigabyte aren't that good anymore for server anyway. Well, I think 16 gigabyte even server RAM should still be okay if you got a lot of RAM slots. That's pretty much a nothing board. Now I get these a lot too, is another good example. A lot of people throw these kind of boards into mid-grade board, but there's nothing on them. There's no real chips or anything. You know, it's just ports and stuff, so it's base metal recovery, so it's a low-grade board. Okay. But you know, they think, oh, because there's a tiny little chip there, it's going to be any more. But yeah, they're only a low-grade board. They're just ports. Oh, how's that? There's a random RAM. This is 128 As you can see, these have been picked through by like a technician or something, and he's just thrown stuff in. Who knows? Can't remember the story behind all of these. Now I'm just trying to find. Normally it's blue or purple, the little clip. Oh no, that's right. It's just these levers here. And it pulls out the whole thing. All right. Well, that's a pretty decent motherboard. It's got one of those BGAs that you find on the slot CPUs, the Pentium 2 and Pentium 3 slot CPUs. That same chip. They're a really good high gold recovery chip. Apart from that, it's just a plain server board, but still good. Yeah. So even though I've got it out, I still got to undo these torque screws. Well, even though this isn't much scrap steel, it's still something I want to get rid of. I've got a few of these. Yeah, I picked up, I think 3 or 4 in one pick. I'm just trying to... trying to remember how to get into these things. They're like the main unit of a conferencing system for businesses. They come with a whole heap of different gadgets, like you got cameras and microphones and phones, all kinds of things. So unusual to get 3 units in one pickup. I worked it. Finally worked it out. Just have to slide this door. Oh well, we can get scrap steel for that. And there you have it. And yeah, a couple of pretty decent boards, like this little daughter board here, 2467. It's got 7 gold band crystal oscillators. That's pretty snazzy. All right. Well, I'll get this daughter card off. And you can see it's their own brand, Polycom, but there you go, and some big chunky MLCCs. But yeah, 7 gold band crystal oscillators. And these are like BGAs. They're a different style, but yeah, unfortunately I think they're just the silicon chips underneath. But still good. So this will probably be the last thing I scrap until I start doing some street scrapping. Cute little power board, and yeah, have a bit of different fun there for a change. In the last couple of years, you know, street scrapping's been virtually impossible, you know, so we had a few short spurts where oh yeah, we could go out, and then the following week back to lockdown, and All kinds of things were happening. Just with these risers, just want to run a magnet over just to make sure that, yep, they're all just steel, they're not brass. It's a little mid-grade board with a couple of those long MLCCs, and the pink ones as well. I usually take them. I'm pretty sure they're non-magnetic. Whew, that was a bit of a muddle around. But yeah, as I said, it's a pretty high-grade board, you know, with a lot of tantalum capacitors, and still got some gold bands and some BGAs. Oh wow, and this board is it's a bit of plastic coated aluminium. This board is even better. So yeah, I think I'm not sure if I finished what I was saying when I was saying it'll be the last scrap video until yeah, we start street scrapping, and I'm probably scrapping stuff that I've picked up, hopefully. I'd imagine that this year the areas that are doing the street scrapping are you know, the competition's going to be really tough, so I'm not going to go too crazy, and more so to have a bit of fun, but just itching to go out and just yeah, do some street scrapping. Just something I haven't had the chance to do very often in the last couple of years, so finally, well, there's always a little obstacle whenever there's things you want to do, and so we no longer have any lockdowns or anything, but now the price of fuel has gone up quite a lot. This is a good board. But how's that? 6 nice BGA chips there. Another good one there. Even these ones are okay. Wow, interesting board. And I'll finish cutting out the wire. But for one unit, these two boards are great, and this one just for the 7 gold band crystal oscillators. Sorry, my microphone falls, and I don't notice it falling. So anyway, so all right. Well, on that note, I think I've scrapped a few items, enough for a mini marathon. Anyway, don't want to do a mega marathon like 2 hours or something like that. People would start going crazy, I think. So yeah, anyway, the good news is the next video will most likely be me going out there street scrapping and having a bit of fun. So hopefully you'll tag along and check it out. So from next week onwards, street scraps. Yay. Alright guys, well, have fun, keep scrapping, and I'll catch you really soon.